Meeting your girlfriend's family for the first time can be tough. Planning to propose at her family's annual Christmas dinner until you realize that she hasn't even told them that she's gay is even harder. When Abby learns that Harper has kept their relationship a secret from her family, she begins to question the girlfriend she thought she knew. Hey, how's it going, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Movie Files. I am here today to give you my early movie review for the new romantic comedy Christmas film, Happiest Season, which will be premiering on Hulu November 25th. I'm very excited to let you all know I thought about it, and if you should check it out in this spoiler-free review. Before we dive into the details, as you can see on the screen now, make sure you're following me on all my other social media accounts. That way you all can stay up to date on what's going on over here at Movie Files. If you are new to the channel, welcome to the community. Consider subscribing, and while you're at it, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my other early movie reviews, TV coverage, live streams, all the fun things we do on this very channel. It would mean a lot to me if you all can share this video and make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps out the channel, but also really appreciate it. And in the comments, I know this is an early review. The film doesn't come out till next week, but let me know based on the trailer if you were excited for the movie, and once you've seen it, let me know your pros, your cons, what you think about the comedy, what you think about the message, and let's talk about the film in the comment section. So I was really excited for this movie because, again, if you all have been watching my reviews these last couple weeks, it's never too early to talk about Christmas movies, and we've gotten to quite a few in the early parts of November, and this is one of them. And I really love this cast. I really like having a good time with Christmas movie, especially in the lens of the LGBTQ community. This being told, it's like the main focal point in the movie. It's not a subplot. It's not just kind of a side story. It's the main focal point. So I was really kind of excited to see this because you don't really see that in Christmas movies, right? Again, it's a side plot. It's a side character, but this really kind of focuses on that. So I was really excited to see what the film had to say, and I was really excited to talk about it with you all today. So with that being out of the way, let's jump into the positives. Now look, I've seen my fair share of this type of Christmas story where you have a couple, the couple's meeting the family for the first time, and this film has all the tropes you can come to expect. It's very predictable, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as far as this film knowing exactly what it is. But what I really enjoyed about this film were the actual characters. I had such a fun time with the characters, and particularly the supporting characters, and I have to start this thing off with my MVP, my favorite character, an absolute scene stealer, and that is the co-writer of this movie, Mary Holland. Now, you've seen her in other movies. You've seen her as supporting characters in TV shows. She played Jane. Now you have Mackenzie Davis as Harper. She's like the most loved daughter. You have Alison Brie is under her as Sloane, and then you have Jane like all the way down. The family doesn't pay attention to her. They don't care what she's up to. She's just left out. She's in the background, but all the stuff that every single scene she was in, man, I'm telling you, I laughed my ass off. I thought she was such a funny character. But what I also liked about Jane's character, what she represented was someone that's comfortable in their own skin. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in this movie in regards to the message and the story. But I really enjoyed that character, what she stood for, but also, again, she was hilarious for me. And I really enjoyed that character, Jane. And I thought that Mary Holland was fantastic. I definitely want to highlight the mother of this film, played by the incredible Mary Steenburgen. She is the mother that wants to appear to be perfect. She wants to help her husband's image, who's running for mayor. And she is that mom when it comes to the holiday season that is just trying to get the perfect picture for their family photo album. I thought that Mary was fantastic in this movie. She was very funny as well, and I had a good time with her, and she's always great in everything she's in. I think of her character was almost kind of reminiscent to what she was in Step Brothers, but I thought that the mother in this film was hilarious. And then someone that I've been a fan of for a very long time, Alison Brie as Sloane. Again, she's the second favorite daughter in this family dynamic. She has her own perfect family, or pretends to be a perfect family, but I just think Alison Brie as Sloane, and in particular Alison Brie as an actress, she has such great comedic timing. Like, she has very dry comedy in this particular film. She's very sarcastic. She can be very bitchy at times, but I really enjoy what her character kind of represented. Again, this facade and not being comfortable in her own skin, and her family dynamic is very unorthodox, to say the least. So I enjoyed these supporting characters. I thought the sisters were really fun, the mother, the dad, all the supporting characters, and I can't leave out another funny character, and that is Dan Levy as John, who is the best friend of Abby, Kristen Stewart's character. I thought that he was really funny. He really kind of shined in that second act, and all the little phone calls and all this kind of messages. He was the friend that helped Abby through this kind of situation that she was very uncomfortable with. So I thought the comedy really kind of stuck the landing, and I found the comedy to really work with a lot of supporting characters within this film. But I can't leave out the stars of this movie, and that is Kristen Stewart, who plays Abby, someone that has come out a long time ago with her parents and had a pretty good experience with that. But then she's in this relationship with Harper, played by Mackenzie Davis, who I absolutely love her, and you all know, if you all have seen Black Mirror, she was in one of the best kind of LGBTQ episodes from Black Mirror, and just was such a great actress. But you have, Kristen Stewart, man. I always look at Kristen Stewart as kind of like the same way I look at Natalie Portman, right? Where I think Kristen Stewart, she doesn't really get the opportunity to show off her acting chops when she's in these big blockbuster films, a la Natalie Portman, whether it be Star Wars or Thor, and hopefully things will change around with Thor: Love and Thunder. But whenever you see Kristen Stewart in the independent films, a la Natalie Portman, that's where you get to see her as a great actress. And I think Kristen Stewart is just such warming in this film. She's so charming. She has some really good moments, some really good comedic moments as well. And I thought that her character was really kind of, again, can you imagine being in the position that she was in, that she's come out, she knows who she is, but she loves this person who hasn't told her family who she loves, who she's in a relationship with, and she hasn't told her family that she's out as a gay woman. So I really enjoyed Kristen Stewart in this role. Again, I thought she was fantastic. And then, again, Mackenzie Davis, again, if you've seen the episode of Black Mirror, she doesn't represent the LGBTQ community like Kristen Stewart does, but she's someone that advocates the community and does a really good job in telling the stories. And I thought that she was great in this movie. We'll talk about her a little bit later, but I thought that their chemistry was really well done. And I don't have anything really bad to say about Mackenzie Davis as an actress, because I think she's fantastic. And her as Harper, again, someone is conflicted with who she really is and not being able to tell her family who she is. You really kind of see that conveyed within this performance. So performances were great. The comedy was really there, and I had a fun time with this movie and with this particular family and the situational humor that they find themselves in. But I can't leave out the fact that this film I have to applaud the film on its message, right? With the idea of being comfortable with who you are, right? And when it comes to A Christmas Story, again, I mentioned up top, we don't really see the LGBTQ as the main focal point of the story, right? They're either side characters as a subplot. It's really not focused on, but being able to see the LGBTQ community being represented in a Christmas movie in this light, to me, again, I talk about it so often on this channel, being represented is so important. And man, in the last month or so, whether it be movies that I've watched like Over the Moon, seeing something like Sound of Metal, which I'll be talking about pretty soon, and the deaf community being communicated or being represented there, whether it be something like Jingle Jangle. I mean, it's just so important to have everyone have their voice being heard and have their story being told, especially, like I said, when it comes to Christmas movies, because it's very, very traditional, right, when we see a Christmas movie. So I really applaud the films for its message and having the LGBTQ community being highlighted within this film. And then lastly, in my positives, this film knows exactly what it is. It plays by the book. It's happy, it's bright, it's a warm romantic comedy, and you know where things are going to end, which is fine, because I applaud the film knowing what it is, but at the same time, it has a good message, it has a really good supporting cast, and I had a fun time with it. It was very entertaining, very heartwarming. And again, I applaud a film that knows exactly what it is, and I had a fun time with it. So those are my positives that I have for the film. Kind of transition into my criticisms now. Clea DuVall, who's the director and co-writer of this movie, who I love seeing her in movies and shows. She's directed a couple short films in her career. She made her directorial debut in 2016. But when it came to the direction of this movie, I found the script to be really strong, but I found the direction to have a little bit of some hiccups, right? There were some directional cues that I thought just didn't work for me. There were some scenes that just kind of cut abruptly. There was some kind of weird placements within certain scenes. There were some pacing issues at times. So some minor directional things I noticed that didn't really kind of veer me off to my entertainment aspect, like, oh man, the direction is just horrible. But it was something that was kind of, a more of a weaker aspect of the film, in my personal opinion. When it comes to the comedy is very subjective, and I mentioned it up top that a high percentage of the jokes for me spoke to my kind of comedy sensibilities, but there were the occasional jokes that just kind of fell flat for me. I mentioned that most of the characters were hilarious. I love their stories. I found them to be, they all kind of complemented each other, but there was one character played by an actress who I absolutely love, and again, this cast is fantastic, but Aubrey Plaza as Riley, who's the ex-girlfriend of Harper. I know what the character represents, but I just found the character to fall a little flat in regards to the characteristics, not having really much to do and just kind of popping up randomly in the film and kind of being there for, Kristen Stewart's character. So again, I know what the character represents, but I just felt like the character just didn't have that much to do, and it was kind of like a sore thumb within that cast. And then kind of some other last things that come to mind. When it comes to a particular aspect, like in the second half of the film, there's this fight between Harper and Abby, and I found that scene to be kind of forced and kind of come out of left field. I kind of knew it was coming. Again, the film's very predictable, but I found that scene to be kind of really forced and really just didn't really lead up to much. It just felt like we need to have a conflict, so let's put this scene in, and it just didn't feel organic to the story. And then lastly, again, the film's very predictable. You knew that this was going to happen eventually. You have the big family fight where, Harper has a big moment with her family, and I found that scene, again, going back to the direction, to be very kind of generic and just didn't feel on par with the other emotional aspects of this movie. So a couple minor things that I didn't like with the film, but those are my criticisms. So before I give you all my overall thoughts, give you my score, make sure if you haven't already to give this video a thumbs up, share this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other reviews. With that being said, let me give you all my overall thoughts of this movie. So overall, Happiest Season is a heartwarming holiday romantic comedy that celebrates all the tropes that you've seen in holiday movies before. For me, it really did a good job of capturing the range of emotions tied into wanting acceptance from your family, but also being true to yourself. And I think that this tells a really beautiful story within the LGBTQ community, and I really had a good time with this film. So with that being said, I'm going to give Happiest Season a solid 4 out of 5, and I highly recommend you all give this a watch when it becomes available on Hulu November 25th. Watch it with your family, watch it with your friends, watch it with your loved ones. It's a really good time, and I highly recommend you guys give it a watch. So that's just my thoughts on the movie. Again, make sure that you let me know your thoughts on the film once you've seen it, your pros, your cons, who were some of your favorite characters, and what did you think about the message as a whole. So let's talk about it in the comments below. So with that being said, make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss any of my other content. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Hope you're staying safe, and we'll see you on the next video.